Amy and Lisa from the Virtual Beauty Bar. We're back for another session on how to find new customers. And in today's episode, we're going to go through the other side of the who do you know list about leaving brochures in public places. There we have it. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and so you don't miss out on any future sessions. And without further ado, let's dive in. Lisa, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
And for anyone who doesn't know, I think it's quite funny, really, because we're opposite sides of the country, aren't we? But
Yeah.
today we've both got gorgeous weather.
It is beautiful.
At long last. Right,
Yeah.
so yes, we're going to be doing the who do you know list. So you can download these from the Avon Academy. Print them off, or if you don't have a printer, you could make some notes and you could write them down. So, grab a notebook, because we're going to give you lots and lots of ideas of places that you can go to. I'm not going to read out every one, but we are going to cover quite a few. And also, these have got some American terminology, so we have to just sort of skip past that, because we have to remember we are a global company, and things like yard sales we don't say, do we? So there's a couple of little bits in there. Laundromats, another one. So I've crossed that out and put laundrette.
I mean, I have to ask you what with tip at restaurants meant. So
we can come to that, can't we? We can come to that.
yeah.
So I know you've got a really good tip, and something you do. So I think this is really important that we come to this first before I start going through that list. Otherwise, because I think if you give people this idea, that really opens their mind to what they could potentially do.
Yeah, so for me personally, I'm relatively new to the area that I live in. We only moved up here 4 years ago, so I am still learning the area myself. So for instance, I'm looking at it now, hair salons, for instance, off this list. And I don't really know the hair salons in the area because I'm still so new. So what I've been doing is I've been just going onto Google Maps and typing hair salons near me, and it comes up with a great long list of all surrounding villages. And coincidentally, found out I had 4 hair salons in just this village alone. So and I didn't know all of those existed. So it's quite surprising as well, even if it's people who work from home as well, that tends to be listed on Google Maps. So that's a really good hint and tip that I've definitely used and would pass on to you guys, to say, go onto Google Maps and type in whatever business it is and just use the words near me. You can also search in specific areas as well on Google Maps. So if it doesn't necessarily pick up your current location, you can drag the map to where it is, and you can click at the top, search in this area. That's on a laptop at least anyway.
Yeah.
I think you can phone as well, search in this area. Say for instance as well, like your parents live in a different village and you want to search for in their area because you visit them on a regular basis and thinking about leaving brochures near them, or what have you.
Yeah.
Whatever, then you can search near them too. So that's how I personally have come about putting books in businesses, by using Google Maps.
Yeah, it's a really good idea, that. And somebody gave us a tip last week where they said that they print maps off. I mean, that's really for book drops, but you could do that in a city centre, couldn't you? Or a village or a town. You could put the postcode in of that village, print the map off, and then before you going out, you could make some notes on that map. Also, apologies, I do have somebody mowing the lawn to just stop then as I started talking then, but it always happens, doesn't it? It's real life. So that's great. So yeah, I have also found craft fairs that way, doing some gift and craft fairs by doing the whole near me on Facebook. So it is quite good to do on Facebook or Google Maps, because lots comes up, doesn't it? Especially if they've registered a business on Google Maps. Lovely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say a couple of examples what's on this list, just to give you a bit of an idea. If you don't have a printer or you don't have that ability to log right in now because you're watching us, but maybe grab a pen and a piece of paper and just make some notes, and sort of think, who do I know that's that particular person? So Amy mentioned hairdressers before. You know, my hair's a bit grey now, so I only really go the hairdressers now for a cut. You know, I don't really go very much for much more than that. But my hairdresser does let me very kindly put my Avon brochures in there. And she's a great customer. But this is how I leave my books. I pop a little note on that says please take one, and then I put the in a little circle. Now I did this, I put the started putting the post-it notes on probably about 2 months ago. I've been putting brochures in for a bit longer, but people have been taking them and then passing them on, and I've found some great streets and some great customers from just putting that post-it note on. Whereas I think more people take them now, you know, whereas before they might have felt like they had to have left them.
It
You know,
stands out, doesn't it?
yeah.
Bloody yellow
With now,
note.
were you going to show people the stand what you leave in hairdressers?
Yeah, so this is what I've personally done, and we can link it into the comments. I've just bought these on Amazon. I think off the top of my head, it was 6 stands for about £7.99. So really, really cheap. So they're just like plastic stands. And then I've put on the stickers. So on the back, if for some reason somebody would want to take a digital brochure instead, or certainly have it on their phone if they prefer not a book, I've just went on to Google and typed in QR code generator free and created this QR code. And this is the link to my digital brochure. So they can just scan that with their phone. And this is ideal as well. If for some reason the books have run out on the stand, they can still access a brochure just
Yeah.
digitally. Because then on the front, I've got if the brochures have run out on this stand, please text more and your location to, and then my phone number. So I think, as I say, there were 6 of them for £7.99. We can pop it in the link below. But yeah, they're fantastic, and they hold, if we've got bonus brochures like this month, personally I think we can fit 5 on there, but if we don't have bonus brochures you can fit maybe 6 if not 7 on there. So yeah, great little tip
Yeah,
really.
so that could be for like if you've got better relations with the person that owns that shop. I mean, you might be going in and just handing 1 or 2 books out, but if there's more and more people in that workplace buying, then you might want to just invest in that stand so they're kind of stood up and they're more noticeable. So yeah, great tip. So some of
Space too, I find as well, just it helps the businesses at that point as well because it's taking up less space.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So on the who do you know list, I'm just going to shout a few of my favorites out. Now, do you know what? I haven't told you this yet, but I went to the gym this morning at 7, go to a boot camp, 7 a.m. And when I came out, I know, it's bonkers, isn't it? When I came out, loads of the people hadn't had books this month, so I had loads in my car, and I was saying, oh, I was parked right by the door, so I was like, anyone want a book? Anyone want a book? So I was like handing all these books out to people. Yeah, I'll have a book, thanks very much. Because some of these people I see, but some of them might live a bit further away and I don't deliver to where they are. And some of them I do deliver, I just haven't got around to dropping those books. One lady, she does work in a hairdresser's as well, so they buy off me. So she was taking 4 or 5. So I probably gave out, you know, 15, 20 books this morning at 7:45. So I was chuffed about that one. So that's good, isn't it?
I love that.
And also other people see me doing it, so they'll go, oh yeah, I'll have one. Oh, do you do Avon, you know? So so the gym is probably one of my favorite places, you know, outside the door. And then we've got hair salons, which we've mentioned. So start thinking about, who do I know that works in hairdressers, or who do I know, you know, who can I ask, where do they go for their hair done? My daughter's a nail technician, so she normally has 4 or 5 books a month in there for me. And you know, people will take them home, and again, some people travel probably like maybe 20-30 minutes. I think she has some people travel 50 minutes to her to get their nails done. So you know, it's just the books, it's just the potential that the books could go somewhere else. And I do have a little QR code on mine for people to go straight to the shop. So yeah, think about, who do you know that has the nails done? Or if you've got a friend, say, you know, who does your nails? And then, because sometimes a nail technician cannot be taking on more customers. They might, they might be full. They can't physically fit any more in, so they might not advertise. You might not hear of anybody. So that word of mouth, always sort of ask your friends where they go. Where else have I got? Staff rooms. So this works really well for my husband because he works in a school, and he puts them out on his desk, or he'll put them in the pigeonholes. And he said to me the other day, he said, all the orders are coming in. He said, I've been putting my books out. So, not necessarily, like, you might not be able to get into a school and get into the pigeonholes, but do you know a teacher? Do you know somebody who goes into staff rooms? There's a plane going over now. This is normally you, isn't it? It's
It's
going
probably me.
over. So think about staff rooms, and who do you know that works in a staff room that could take them and put them in, maybe leave a couple of samples in the books. You might want to leave a letter in, or you might want to leave a consultation form in, and a little bit of explanation about that. So think about who do you know works in school, who do you know works in big offices. Where else have we got on this list? I've got toddler groups. Now, this isn't really one, again, for me. This might be for somebody else. You might be able to elaborate a little bit on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I take my little boy to toddler groups, so yeah, just it's word of mouth. One of the opening conversations is always, oh, what do you do? And I get straight in there. Oh, I work for Avon, because Avon is my full-time job. I'm lucky enough to say. So I say, oh, I do Avon. Oh, do you? And it gets talking about it. One thing I would add on here as well, personally, what I do is I actually leave some brochures in a doctor's surgery, but for the staff. And what I do is I pop it all in a little box, and in that box I put like a little packet of biscuits as well. So I do them a handwritten note every month and just say, whilst you're sitting down for a well-deserved cuppa, enjoy your biscuits and flick through the book. So just as a bit of an idea as well of just treating those customers as like, VIPs or what have you, just thinking outside the box slightly and just thinking, how can I make this more of a easy experience for them to order? So yeah, that's what I do, and that seems to work really, really well.
So I've got a couple of examples that tie in nice with that, because I have some little tester stickers on for when I do the markets, but also I've got quite a few different perfumes. So my husband will take these into work and possibly put them on a desk, or keep them in for a week or two. But I suppose you talking about doing this kind of thing with your doctor's surgery box, where you might leave one product in while you leave the brochures, and then when you come back for it, you might swap it
Yeah.
for another one. And if you do put tester stickers on, make it obvious that it's a tester. I think I just got these off Amazon. If I can find them, I'll put them in the link below. And then also we're both certified beauty advisors, and when you do that program with Avon, you get some stickers, don't you? So I tend to put them on things. I don't put them on my books so much. I seal my bags with them, but I do put them on here, really, so just people don't walk off with them by mistake. If they buy one and then they pick that one up, I'm like, oh no, that's a tester. So I try and make the testers as obvious as possible. But yeah, giving somebody, I think it's quite nice with a perfume, to leave a perfume if you can afford to do that. Or if you've got some testers, like you said, samples, pop them in your bags. What else have we got? Slimming clubs. That's another good one. I always did well with Slimming World when you go in, and not necessarily with losing weight, but taking brochures in or meeting people, and I think always wear, if you can, if you've got a hoodie. If you've got a hoodie, a branded hoodie, then wear that. I sometimes wear mine to go to the boot camp in the morning. Randomly, I might wear it like twice a month. It's just a little bit of extra. There might be somebody that doesn't know me. There's quite a few new faces this morning, so there's obviously people that aren't going to know who I am and what I do. I am just going to flick back to something you just said before. I made myself a little note so I wouldn't forget.
I'll go for it.
And it was about you saying to people what you do for a living. And, you know, if you find that hard to break into that conversation with people, to just sort of go, oh, I want to tell them, I want to tell them, but I don't know how. A good opener is always to ask them first, what do they do for a living? Because 9 out of 10 times they're going to turn around and go, well, what do you do, after they've said, you know, what they do? They're going to turn around and say to you, what do you do for a living? So it's the perfect opener if you're struggling to get that in.
Yeah, perfect.
Have you got
Perfect.
anything else on that list that you think we should shout out? Shall I just randomly say like some things off
Yeah,
this?
go for it. Go for it.
Okay, I'm going to whiz through, so you might want to either watch this back again, or you might just think, oh no, it's just all a bit too random. So we've got doctors, dentists, vets waiting room, hospital waiting room, pharmacy, library, post office, bowling alleys, college campus, daycare centres, dance classes, school receptions, dressing rooms, spas, tanning salons, pet stores, car dealerships, bingo halls, retirement homes, care homes, assisted living, convenience store. Oh, with tip at a restaurant. So, you know, sometimes people will pay the bill and leave their card on the pad. You know, like when you go to a restaurant, you pay the bill and they give you their card. Some people like to give their card back. So that's the tip with the restaurants. A bakery, a car wash, a grocery store, flower shop, train station, bus station, airport. We know a rep who successfully drops books whenever she goes away. Another one of the training ambassadors, she does that. She drops them at the airport and leaves them, and she's had orders.
Love
Newspaper stand, coffee shop, community boards, brownies, guides, high street shops, local shops, nurseries, garden centres, friends of friends, school gates, soft play, secondhand shops, toddler groups, takeaways. There's loads, and I've missed some out there. I just literally skipping through all year, all day. But yeah, think about who do you know that might work there, or what are these in your village, or your town.
And
Um,
the way I think
go
about
on.
it as well is just thinking about places where people will be stood still or sitting down for a couple of minutes, that they could either look at the book there and then whilst they're waiting, such as like a takeaway or the hair salon or the doctor's surgery or dentist surgery, where they're sitting and waiting, or places that they can just take a book home with them. So that's more places like a toddler crash or what have you, because I mean, I certainly know when I've got my little boy at the toddler, you can't sit still for 2 minutes. So just think about kind of the different ways or how many books you're leaving in places based on what that person would be doing. If they've got more time to sit down and read your book, you might not need as many, but if they're going to be taking books, you might need a couple more.
Yeah, and I know, like, talking about those stands before and putting them in places, like you've been reaching out to people, haven't you? And asking, you know,
Yeah, always make sure that you ask first is definitely what I'd say. You know, so a couple of people, like, I've messaged out on Facebook and just said, hi, I'm a local Avon rep. I was just wondering whether I could leave a couple of brochures. Certainly, let's go back to the hair salon, you know, whilst they're having their hair done, or they could take a brochure home with them. And the final thing as well that I would say is always leave your contact details on the book, on the brochure, because then the person who's head of the venue doesn't feel obliged to have to do anything. So the customer or the potential customer can get in touch with you, the hair salon owner or whoever it may be, hasn't got to do anything. They don't feel obliged to do anything. So your books are on the stand, you've got your sticker on your book, and they contact you. They can take the book away and they contact you at their own free will and leisure. So yeah, so that's what I do, is just pop a sticker on the front and say, if you'd like to order, feel free to contact me on my phone number.
and you know, even if you're new and you haven't got your stickers, you can just write it on a post-it note, can't you?
Absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
also I've got my number inside on the form as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, it's always really surprising when I've not had a business say no at all
That's
to me.
brilliant.
which has been absolutely lovely. So if for some reason you don't get a response on Facebook, please don't be afraid as well, just to go in and ask, introduce yourself and say, hi, I'm a local Avon rep, you know, I was just wondering whether I could leave some brochures in here. And I think obviously sometimes face-to-face going in is really daunting, but you're never going to get somebody really abusive and say no, as that's my personal experience.
You might get somebody else that sells it in there, but you're just asking, aren't you? You know, you just
exactly. Yeah, that's the you know, and you know, they could, the worst they can say is no. But there are, go back to your Google Maps list at that point and just go elsewhere.
So your focus this month, is it hair salons or is it nail salons or beauticians? What is it?
So last month I did hair salons, and this month I'm kind of focusing on a couple, actually, doctors and dentists, because obviously they're a bit fewer and far between. So yeah, dentists and doctors. Again, I'm still kind of relatively new to the area, like I say. So there's only 2 doctors and dentists near me. So but it's a bit harder because that's got to go through management, but that's in the process of being done. So all being well, I'll be able to leave them there too.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that. So I think we've covered loads, haven't we?
I think that pretty much covers everything.
Perfect. Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's episode and it's given you lots and lots of different ideas and things to think about. There's even some things there I've not thought about. So thank you, Amy, for sharing some of your tips with us as well. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Sharing those tips and finding out what other people do. If you've got any ideas that you think we haven't covered, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below, because I feel like this series is going to be a sort of ongoing series, because we can already think of about 8 or 10 sort of different episodes, can't we, where that's coming through. So please leave your comments below if there's anything you do or you hadn't thought of. We'd love to have some of your feedback. And if you would like to email us, we have an email address, and that is thevirtualbeautybar@gmail.com. So please feel free to email us if you have any questions or comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because it would mean a lot to us, because we're just getting going now, so we really do value that if you could do that for us. So that's it, and we hope you've really enjoyed today, and don't miss out on future episodes, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.